good. All right, guys, what is going on, YouTube world? Actually, was talking to a friend of mine. His name is Nabe. We traveled together for a long time, and we were actually traveling down to fish the Major League Fishing 1v1 against Jacob Prosnick, which he won. I was ahead the first two quarters, and we had a 30-minute quarter for y'all who watched it. And Jacob caught a like 4.5 pounder right in the last period, 30 minutes to go. Caught a 4.5 pounder and put me down. But it's always fun. Me and him are like two brothers, smack talking each other. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. What's up, Hampton? I knew you would be here. Jacob's here. He's already got a question out. My question would be where are you coming from and where are you going? Yeah, that would be a good question. So today we're going to ask the question of if bass could talk, what would be a question that you would ask them? Like, what would be a question that you would say? One question, though, I got a bunch that goes through my mind, and I think we all could ask that bass a question of saying, hey, when it's cold, like, do you actually get cold and quit eating when it's cold? We can kind of answer it, but I thought it would be a fun live show that I could actually read your comments, because when I do, I read all the comments on YouTube, but to actually, it would be so hard for me to talk it all out through my fingers and answer your question, typing them in, because I don't, when you see me answering a lot of you guys' questions on there, dude, it takes a lot of time to answer the questions through YouTube. So I figured we'll do a live show today, see what kind of questions would come in. I see people are starting to come in a little bit now. We got Scott McFalls. I knew you'd be here too. We got Fishing in the Dark, AL Fishing, Bobby Blair. Don't get mad, Bobby. Can't pronounce your name. Ben Hill. There's some people coming in now, joining. But I always thought it would be a cool question. So let's see. Hampton says, what's your advice to a high school tournament angler who has to fish out of a 16-foot War Eagle John boat with a 40 tiller motor? Well, boat, Hampton, it's pretty obvious. Boats don't catch fish. So it doesn't matter if he's in an aluminum boat, 40-foot tiller, putting yourself in the right place, doing the right things is more important than the boat that you're in. I know we're in these 20-foot bass boats, and we seem to be, we're on the professional level, and everything seems to be crisp and clean and power poles and all that. But ultimately, I mean, look at John Cox. John Cox has been going in a smaller boat, aluminum boat, catching the crap out of them. What's up, Will? I knew you'd be here. Always here with the emojis. Me and Will. There's Dan. What's up, Dan? Well, if it isn't the best looking... DDM said, what's going on, bro? I know you would have, Dan, I know you would have a good, unique question. So let's read some of them up here. Fishing in the Dark, 122. What's up, my man? Here we go. Do you ever see the hook? Joseph says, do you ever see the hook? I feel like some lures expose the hook so much that you sometimes wonder why the fish. Joseph, that's a good question. I think you're more or less making a statement, but think about what the Alabama rig is. The Alabama rig is just a harness. You got, 40 gauge wires, giant swivels, big snap rings, just a big harness. And like with a wacky worm, Joseph, I like to throw a big hook. When you have a lure that has a lot of profile, hooks don't really matter. They kind of bypass those a little bit. So, all right, guys, let's get some questions on what would you ask a bass? One question. I think this is going to be fun. What's up, Ryan? Robert? Patrick? What's up, Michael? John? What quality do you look for in a fishing partner for a team tournaments? You know, when you got two alpha, John, when you got two alpha males up there competing and they all have their own ideas and they want to do a certain thing, it plays with confidence. You know, there's a lot of suggestions typically, John, that go in that. So you want to have one guy making all the decisions and the other guy just fishing. What's up, Marty? John Piper, what's up? From Louisiana. I love Louisiana. Thanks for the views. Got your new rods. Patrick, cool deal. See you got your new rods. So let's do this while people are still joining in. Hampton, are you asking the bass, do red hooks make a difference? Because we need this question. If you could ask the bass one question, like, what would it be? Hampton, I don't believe in red hooks, Hampton. It just bypasses me. Ernest comes. I see your post there, Ernest, but I have it blocked to where we try to kind of keep it clean. But I like the question. What is the best way to catch you during a cold front? That would be a good question. You know, what if you ask the bass what would be the best way to catch him during a cold front? I would have to say that bass is saying, look, man, it's cold outside. I don't feel like moving. I'm really not burning many calories every day. So if there's a lure that is slow moving and pauses and I can catch you without much effort, that's what would catch me. I feel that's probably what he would say. I know I'm playing the role of the bass answering these questions, but I don't know. I could be right, could be wrong. You guys, I don't know. You'll have to be the decision maker of that. While people are still joining in, so let's do this real quick, okay? While people are still joining in, I did this on my last live, and it went really well. So you see this? Whoa, I got a stamp, and I already got my address. I got everything ready, and I'm doing a giveaway of some old cards, like some old trading cards, like dated back to 2000 and I don't know, man, that was a long time ago. There's one in 2015. This one had to have been in 2012. So we got some cards here that I'm going to give away, already signed, autographed. So you guys have joined in early. So let's do this. Your chance of winning this is going to actually be greater than it will be here in a little while with people joining in. So all you have to do is say, I want one, and I will insert them in there, and they will be mailed out to you, and you'll just DM me on Instagram. So if you go ahead and say, I want one, chime in. I'm going to scroll over here with my mouse and pick one while we're doing it. So just have to say, I want one. Where are you going to be around? I'm going to read some of these questions before they go off the page, because I know you guys are going to blow it up saying you want one. There goes Hampton. See, y'all are coming in. How do you decide? Dan says, how do you decide what kind of pads you are going to hide under? I'll fish under long, says you pay without a biting in a tiny patch. Yep, and you guys can do it as many times as you want, but Hampton Shoal is doing it. All right, keep going. Here we go. you guys got a good chance of getting it right off the giddy. Here we go. I'm just going to close my eyes. And I got 4 of these to give away, so don't leave this screen. I got 4 pre-stamped envelopes in here, so we're going to give 4 of these sets of cards, trading cards away. So I am going to close my eyes right here, and bam. Hampton, you are the man. So Hampton Scholl, DM me on Instagram, okay? Hampton Scholl, DM me on Instagram, and I will put this. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put it in there now. Yep, going in there now. Already in there. Coming to you, my man. Coming to you. So let's get back to the questions. So, and again, I got more to give away. So let's get back to the questions. I think one of the questions, if I had to ask a bass a question, it would probably be this: what do you females do right after you lay your eggs? Like, we know that, the females go out there, they come up there, they roll, they bust eggs, they lay all their eggs. But then there's always that little period where they just, I don't know. I don't know if they're suspended under the boat. I don't know what they do. I don't think they go from spawning to immediately out to, 10 foot of water, straight out to ledges, straight out to deep water. What do you female? So you guys, I want to read your comment. What do you think that a female does right after she lays her eggs? Like when he knocks out the last egg to her and she swims out, what do you think what are you doing? That's what I want to ask her. Who's got an opinion on what that female is doing? So I'm going to read them. Hampton, I see you're DMing me right now. That's cool, and it'll be mailed out tomorrow. Do the more expensive Senkos look more appealing than bass stick baits? Hey Ben, make sure you ask that question here in a little bit, because I'll forget it. I like that question, Ben. I want to read what people think the females do. Craig, Ernest, Bass, hiding. Ryan says, I'd say move out to rest and eat. I agree, Ryan, but it's like what I want to ask them, and I agree with you, Ryan. I want to ask them, do you move out like way out into the pocket? Do you just kind of swim around and suspend over deep water? Are you just, I agree with you 100%, Ryan, but it's like, I want to know the exact, answer. Like, do you rest for 5 days? Get a cigarette and a big meal. Yeah, goes up and rest. David says, waste better shad. What's better, shad or crawfish? The number one diet, David, of a bass is a crawdad. Okay? What does... Oh, I don't know how to present that. Your name, Wallace Custom Tackle, says, does the hydrowave really... What does the hydrowave really sound like? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I reckon the bass might be asking that. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but that's pretty funny. Fishing in the Dark says she hangs out for a week or two, fattening back up. But hey, that's easy to say, fishing in the dark, and that's what we like to hear. But I'm talking about that period. And if you're just joining in, the question I've asked is, what do the females do right after they lay their last egg. But is she hanging out in 20 foot of water, suspended up? Just how can she eat out there? Or is it like a 4-day window where she eats nothing? Like, I don't know, because it always frustrates me. Then there's a certain time of the year you have all these females up there. Then you got the bass spawn, the bluegill spawn happening. So I don't know. I really don't know. Of course, they got to fatten up and feed, but when do they start that and when do they go? Let's read another question. Dave D, I like your name. I don't know what your last name is, but Dave D says, how do you swim after you get caught and released from the tournament? I reckon they're probably pretty stressed out. Imagine if we were, Dave, I'm just kind of thinking of a bass. You know, if we were captured by an enemy and we were drove all over the place, we would be pretty stressed out, and stress can wear you down physically. Unless you're a smallmouth, those things just have a ton of energy. But I imagine the bass is going to say, his answer is going to be like, dude, I just rode 8 hours. I thought I was eating a shad in the morning on a shad spawn. And then after 8 hours, I got put in a box. And dude, I've been stressed out ever since. And I don't even know what to do. So they're probably pretty stressed out and swim a little bit slower. We got David Gibson's in the house. I think they go feed because they have a seat on a bed so long. Lethargically hide. I don't think they like to go up and down in the water column. Thicker the better. I kind of agree with that, Jacob. You know, if you've ever swam and I think we all have swam in the lake before, you know how there's like pockets of cold water, like you'll swim and all of a sudden you hit a hot pocket and then all of a sudden you swim a little bit further and there's a cold section. I wonder if they just kind of swim around and find that pocket of cold and use that as a rest. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, we like to joke around all the time and say, you know, when you pee in the water, you're like, hey, there's a warm spot over here, but we've all swam in the water and there's actually pockets of cold water and hot water. And now that I'm talking about that, I've often wondered that about the grass. I'll tell you a funny thing I did one time. I know you guys are asking a lot of questions and I'm getting ADD and I'm running all over the place. But let me tell you a quick story and I'm going to get back to some of your questions. I know you guys are reading it. I got so intrigued by flipping heavy mats that I literally dove in the water where a mat was. Like I just got bit, like doom, I got bit in the heavy mat, and they say the grass holds warmth, but it was very interesting. Even this was in the summer dog days. So you would think in the summer you're looking for shade. In the winter you're saying it's keeping you warm. Well, that's kind of going against each other. And ironically, when I jumped in the water, man, it was the same thing that I was talking about. My mind just got triggered. There was pockets, like I was kind of walking through this really thick mats and I was trying to get underneath where the bass were just to see the temperature. I should have flipped a thermometer in there. But I was in these areas where a lot of bass were at, and it was actually still the same thing, like pockets of hot and cold water. That just triggered my mind. But anyways, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna get back to reading. After a spawn, female is caught and released in a tournament. Do you attempt to find your old bed, or will you immediately try a new one? After a spawning female is caught and released in a tournament, do you attempt to find your old bed, or will you try immediately to make a new one? That's a good question there, Robert. That's a cool question, guys. He says he would love to ask a bass this question. He goes, after you spawn, speaking to the female. He said, do you attempt to find your old bed, or would you immediately try to make a new one? So here we go. I'm going to answer as the bass. I'm actually enjoying this. Not to say I know every answer that a bass is thinking, but Robert, to answer your question, it would be, I would assume that if she had mama bear in her and she had already dropped a bunch of her eggs, then she would maybe attempt to find it. I don't know. It's like a mama trying to find her lost kid. She might attempt to find it. Or if she hadn't laid them yet, she's probably going to go to the closest male that she could find, and she's going to dump them. So she's probably answering, yes, I would love to try to find my kids, but if I can't, then, I'm going to give my best effort, and who knows when they give up. So that's a pretty cool question. Actually, I love that question. Let's read another. Alan Outdoors is in. You ran in. All right. I thank you for the kind words there, Alan. I remember talking to you out there on the water. Let's see. Who else has got a question? Dan Richards says, and if any of y'all don't follow Dan, he's got a YouTube channel too. I assume that the beds is toast the minute you pull the guards off. I agree, Dan. Definitely I agree. Hampton, do you ever hear the ping? That would be a cool question. Do you ever hear the ping of a transducer in shallow water? I have swam on purpose. I'll tell you a couple things I've done. I actually got underneath the water to a 4-stroke, and I got underneath the water to a 2-stroke, both Mercuries. And I wanted to see which one was louder, okay? And I've also dove in the water to see how far you could hear a transducer away, which was pretty interesting to me. And that was some interesting facts. But they hear it, but they hear so many sounds. Like I've been in the water and a boat, a quarter of a mile away, I can hear it running down the lake. So I'm sure they're used to a lot of background noise and stuff like that. What's going on, Luke Garcia? You're a little late, man. You're a little late, but you're in here. You're in here. Patrick says, how much does lighting really bother you? I don't know it. Oh, lightning. That's a pretty cool question. I reckon if I'm thinking of animals, Patrick, bass, it's just, they all have different personalities. Like, as a kid, I would run out into a storm, just rainstorm. It'd be light. I don't care. I had no fear. And I pretty much still have no fear of a thunderstorm. If I get struck, I get struck. But I would imagine each fish has its own personality on a thunderstorm. So let's do this. All right. So for all of you guys that have just joined, this is going to be giveaway number 3. Again, these are like dating back to 2015, 2012. We got some 2020s. And so we got 4 trading cards. Actually, when I was with Polaris, Walmart, Castrol. So these, if you want one of these cards, okay, simply I got it ready to rock and roll to you. Just say I want one, and I'm going to just close my eyes, put my little scroll button over there, and do it. We got 2 more giveaways after this. I'm going to do it, but I love the questions you got coming in. So let's do it. I see Upstate Angler. You're in here. I knew you would be in here. David Miller's. So you just keep on going. Say, I want one, I want one, I want one. And, all right. Oh, Ben, I just saw. Chime in one more time, Ben. When we get to talking, make sure you chime in, Ben. So here we go. My man says, I want one, I want one, I want one. I'm closing my eyes, and here we go. I got to get my mouse right where I need it. So my eyes are closed, and I am clicking. Man, it's going so fast. Upstate Angler. Dude, that's awesome. Upstate Angler, he's always been a good supporter of the channel. So, Upstate Angler, DM me on Instagram, and this, putting it in there now, this is going to you, okay? That's going to you, so that's giveaway number 2. I need your address. DM me on Instagram, and you will get it. So, hey, Ben, the guy named Ben, he asked an awesome question just a little bit ago. Ben, ask me that question again if you're still on here, which I'm sure you probably are. David Gibson, he asked politely, can I please have one now? That's pretty cool. David, you could probably, if this is the David Gibson I know, you could probably drive to the house and pick one up. So, Ben, if you're here, I said I would answer your question. So if you're joining in, the question I'm asking is, if you could ask a bass one question, what would it be? And I think it's been, I think it would be cool to ask. We've already asked a few good questions. So Ben, you guys ask a question. What would you ask a bass? We had one guy just ask about lightning, so I'm waiting on you, Ben. Aaron Webb says, I'll take you fishing. Can the crawfish hurt the bass fry? Good question, Craig. I'm going to say, as a bass, I'm going to say, yes. I've seen you come into my spawning bed and eat some of my fry or eat my eggs, but you're asking, can the crawfish hurt the bass fry? It'd be hard pressed, because most time bass fry starts suspending, and when they suspend, I can't see a crawdad swimming up and trying to catch one with his claws. Probably could eat his eggs, but I don't know. So here comes Ben. Here we go. Do you prefer the more expensive Yamamoto Senko? Now, are you asking the bass that, Ben? But I do like your question. So, do you prefer... Actually, I'm going to answer it this way, Ben. I just completed the prototype wacky worm that I'm designing. And if you know me good enough, that I have been designing this wacky worm for a long time, and I finally approved a prototype and just sent it off today around 4:30 this afternoon to get the first run of these prototypes made. Now, is a Gary Yamamoto a good Senko? It's a good Senko. Is the Bass Pro Shop a good Senko? It's a very good Senko. But there's other brands out there. I've studied them all, guys. All Senkos are not the same. Not the same. Like I went to one. I got to be kind on saying brand names, but there's another brand name that I wouldn't even throw it in the trash can. It don't even deserve a trash can throwaway. But guys, all Senkos are not made the same, and I have developed one. But is a Gary Yamamoto expensive? It's good, but there are cheaper brands that are better than Gary's. There's one cheaper brand that's better than Gary's. Let's see. What do you want to eat when you are in the cruising mode? Corey, I'm going to say this. Corey, I'm going to answer as a bass. He asked the question, what do you want to eat when you're in the cruising mode? That's a cool question. That's why I love this, man. You guys are asking some cool questions, man. We're going to have to do this. If you could talk, we got to do this one again. So, Corey, I'm going to answer as the bass. Yo, Corey, Yo, dude, when I'm cruising around and I'm hungry, that's why I'm cruising around. I don't care if it's a Waggy Worm Cinco, a Popar, a Whopper Plopper. I'm just looking for something to eat. So when I'm cruising, I'm looking to eat. So it's really not that big a deal to me, whatever comes in front of me. Now, I know we've thrown at cruising bass. As long as they don't see the boat, typically they'll bite anything. But of course, my number one choice is going to be a wacky worm. I can't wait till you guys see the wacky worm that I've developed and the action that it has. Ex Bass Guide, man, where you been? I ain't seen you in a while. Is there a fall? No, ex Bass Guide, there is not a fall bass spawn. Maybe in a lake that has a hot water discharge on it and a bass. But I'll tell you this way, I did a video on spawn, and a woman is, let's speak in human terms. A woman is the same way as any other creature. When God created us, she's going to have hers in 9 months. A dog is going to have their pups in 63 days. They can't choose to go. You know what? I think I want to lay my puppies out now. They can't do that. So if a bass spawns in the fall, he could have been a transplant or over a period of time been delayed and spawned out in the later in the fall, later in the spring, got into fall. But when he is born, at that moment, his internal clock is going, the clock that God has designed him on. And that's when that bass is going to lay its eggs. So, good question, Aaron. Aaron Webb says a big fat frog. Find the video catching him in the kitchen. Awesome. Yeah, that was a fun time there, Robert. When I was catching them, I was actually calling my shot of coming down the hallway, and I knew about when I was going to get bit, and I was, and it was just an awesome time. Is how scared do you get? Will says, my question to a bass is, how scared do you get when David Dudley comes in your bed? I hope they're not too scared and know who's up there fishing for them, because I want them to bite my lure. But that's a pretty humbling comment right there. Probably pretty scared, I would hope. Let's see. David Miller. Let's see. Ben Hill. Trey Ferguson. What is your favorite section of Smith Mountain Lake and best overall bait there? Asking for a friend. Right now, Trey, the topwater bite is going on pretty well. Luke says, big supporter of the channel, says, David, what motivates you most in life or as a professional angler? Motivates me is my family. You know, motivating me is seeing what God does in my life and just seeing what he does. Motivating me, you know, seeing my kids do something, having God talk to me, answer a prayer, that really gets me motivated. As a professional, wanting to win. So, Craig K says, what do bass fry bass eat? Plankton, Craig. They start off by eating plankton, and that's what they go for. High ground fishing, the bass whisperer. I know I would get scared if he come. Yeah. Why are the pros call fishing junk fishing? Was the tackle back then new, not junk? Good gosh, Charles. Why are the why do the pros? I don't know that one. Hampton says, do geese and ducks affect bass? Well, one good thing that geese and ducks do, Hampton, is they definitely transport grass to other lakes, and I am a big grass supporters. If I can get thumbs up, if you believe grass is great for a lake, I reckon you can't do thumbs up. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. If you haven't hit the like button on this, I'm just learning how YouTube works. If you're enjoying this, hit the like button now, because I think it motivates YouTube to send us out, a little bit more. Matt Jones would probably to never water down milk again and make it last. Yes, Matt Jones that would be a great. I think I said that last time. That would be a great thing. Mike Girardi, I haven't seen you on the channel, but why is it that some days the bass hit a lure really aggressive and other days you can't even feel them pick it up? Okay, so here's a myth buster for you. Great question, Mike. Here's a myth buster. He says, why is it that some days the bass hit the lure really aggressive and other days you can't feel them pick it up? Here, listen, guys. I know you're going to comment on this, okay? I know you're going to comment on this. So, when a bass hits a lure, typically really aggressive, that is a fish that's really not aggressive. When a bass picks a lure up and you don't feel him, that is a fish that was very aggressive. So if you've ever seen bass hit a lure like really hard, I think they actually try to kill that bat or that prey, get it to fall down so he can eat it 30 minutes later. Okay? So typically if you get a bam and you miss him, that's just a bass going like this. But when a bass is very aggressive, he's like, he gets it and he's so aggressive. He's so in tune. He's like, and then we're like, oh yeah, I got a bite. That's actually an aggressive bite. And the ones that just slap at it, make a big commotion, or just hit it really hard, they're the ones that are just pecking at it, trying to kill it. And we think that that's an aggressive bass. So it's actually a myth-busting thought that when you barely feel a bass, that is a very aggressive bass. Okay? So there's my answer. I don't have to say it again, but actually that's... let's see. Let's see here. Luke Garcia, Trey Ferguson. Trey says, I figured out why you like a flipping stick for deep divers. I got a cranking rod. You can't tell wood from rock or anything else. True, Trey, true. Dustin, I'm going to say they swim all over the lake. All right, guys, I got 2 more giveaways real quick. Let's give these away before it gets too late. So if you're new, I'm not going to hold off on this long, so go ahead and start chiming in. So these are 4 pre-autographed cards, okay? You got 4 pre-autographed cards. Just say that you want one. Say, I want one. And I'm going to randomly select you guys. It's already pre-labeled and going. Guys, make sure you guys hit it. Here we go. I'm putting it in there now, and I got one more to go. I'm going to give it away at the end of the show, which is going to happen here pretty soon. I'm going to get all you aggressive ones in here. Here we go. All right, we got some coming in. I'm closing my eyes. And here we go. Closing my eyes, closing my eyes. I'm waiting like 20 seconds, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Date Aaron Webb. Aaron Webb. DM me on Instagram. Aaron Webb, DM me on Instagram. I've already. What did I do with that stack of cards? Oh, I've already put them in there. Aaron Webb. I need to DM me on Instagram. I got to put them names on it. Aaron Webb. All right, Aaron, this is for you. All right, so let's get a couple more questions in. Luke Garcia. Let's see here. Will Sharp, Luke. It's important to know a opponent or competitor's strength and weakness. Competitor, no, but I do pay attention who's going down certain banks. So if I'm flipping, I got a lot of respect for Andy Morgan, okay? So if I pull in a creek and I'm in a flipping bite and I see Andy Morgan in front of me, I'm not going to pretty much flip. I respect certain anglers. I could pull in a pocket and see an angler who might even be flipping, and I may feel that he's not covering the area right or he's not, then I'll go in behind him. So depending on who it is. So here we go. Let's get another question of what would you ask a bass if you had one question? Gotta take the wife. All right, see you, Patrick. William says, what temperature, I assume you're asking the bass this, yo bass, what temperature do you like to shed spawn in? Shed spawn, I think when the water gets in the 70s, typically around 60, 65-ish, you'll start to see a little bit of the shad spawn, but 65 and hotter is typically when you're going to see it. So that's when you start looking for the shad spawn. They don't really do it until it gets in the mid-60s. Anthony B., what works best for immediate post-spawn? What works best for immediate? When it gets to post-spawn, Anthony, I like a wacky worm, and then I like a wacky worm, and then I like a wacky worm, and then sometimes I'll throw a wacky worm. So, what works best for the immediate post-spawn? Eric Graffin, what question? All right, guys, chime in on a question and I'll answer it. Hampton says, do jet skis and... All right, so here's a good question. Hampton says, do jet skis and such affect bass? Okay. Do jets... I don't think so. I think when you live in an area, just like around your neighborhood, they are used to traffic. When you live in a neighborhood, you see cars go up and down. Sometimes it's heavier, sometimes it's not, but we don't really pay attention and let it give us fear. Like if there's more cars going by or traffic, what gives fear is this: whatever is out of the norm. So jet skis, wow, boats, wow, 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 wow. They're all going by. But if you were to have a car drive by your house very slow, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, whoa. So when that bass boat is coming by and pretty slow, that throws more warning than when a boat just jet skis zip, 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 zip by. So there's your answer to the jet ski question. All right. I was asking the bass to be clear. Oh, I got you. Alan says, see you guys. Glad I finally made it on the live. See you, Alan. Tight lines to you, my man. All right, so this is going to be the last giveaway. Guys, I appreciate if again, like, this does take a lot of time. It looks like it's easy for me to just set up. If you guys like doing the lives, let me know. Give thumbs up. I appreciate you guys chiming in and talking with me. But it is a lot of pre-set up before this, so it's a lot of work on my end. So it really helps if you guys help me and encourage me to continue these lives with it also. So we're going to give, so if you can, again, hit the thumbs up, maybe share videos when you see them. I feel like I got the best fans in the world. I've already recognized a lot of you guys' names. So here's the last giveaway right here. Let's do this. We got 4 autographed cards, and I'm putting them in the envelope now. And for all you guys know it. And I'm going to do whoever. Yep, David Miller. David, I said whoever the first one to chime in is going to get this. And I'm going to mix it up with you guys every time. This is going to be standard every time. David Miller chimed in. DM me on Instagram. David Miller. I'm writing your name down now. David Miller. You, my man, have won this, and I already got your name on it. David Miller, coming to you. Guys, thank you for subbing to the channel. Thank you for being a good support of the channel. You guys have been awesome to me. I'm going to end the video now, and we will be back. Share the video if you like it. Hit the notification button. Don't forget to hit the notification button. And I'm giving you the outro, which is I'm out.